get galaxy brain.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, you think of how vast everything is. It's like incredible.
Mm-hmm. There's so much possibility that, you just have to have an open mind about it, because if you don't, you are closing off so many possibilities that you are not willing to accept. I find it insulting to the universe if you just say, no, I don't think that could ever happen or would ever happen or blah, blah, blah. That's not how we evolve. That's not how people push the boundaries. Say, fucking Thomas Edison, he's like, let me put a fucking key on a kite and see if I could control the weather to power our fucking light bulbs.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he knew what light bulbs were.
Even at the risk of my own life, I'm out here catching lightning, bitch.
Yeah, I'm going to control the weather to power my world. If somebody didn't think that was possible, we would probably still be writing letters by candlelight.
Yeah, and sending them off via pigeon.
Yeah, fucking pigeon power.
Or maybe by then we could, like, maybe we've upgraded to, like, the Eagle. So we got, like, that's like the fast delivery service. Send it by Eagle.
You have to pay extra for the Eagle delivery service.
For Eagle delivery.
Honestly, not unlike America, to instead of be calling like next day delivery, why don't they call it like Eagle delivery? That's pretty badass,
isn't it? You would think. Come on, maybe the post office can do it because Eagle is like more American, and the post office
like
is
US, like USPS. You already use it as the logo. Let's go.
Yeah,
start it up.
Eagle speed.
Eagle speed. Anyway, so the moon landing, it has to be real. Like, what are some other things that people say? There's like a lens flare or something in the footage that makes it like, oh, this was filmed inside, or some other shit,
it's funny
right?
You bring that up. So people think that the moon landing is fake because Stanley Kubrick filmed it. So,
okay,
for those of you who don't know, Stanley Kubrick is a very famous and world-renowned director, and he's very famous for creating 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Right.
It's amazing. It's one of the best outer space movies I've ever seen. But the thing is that they think that the moon landing footage didn't look real because Kubrick filmed it, and they think it looked too movie-esque.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So, like...
Yeah.
It felt too theatrical, which I don't get that mindset because I've seen footage. It didn't seem... because they say, like, some of the lines that the one-liners that we always hear about now, one small step, that could all be actors improvising and doing things, to build suspense and magnitude.
Yeah, but, like, what's to say that somebody didn't write that? Like, fucking Neil Armstrong said, that's one small step for man. The quote, whatever. I don't need to go into detail.
One giant leap.
Yes, one giant leap for Pepe the Pig. Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig.
So, Neil said this. What's to say that Neil didn't write that while he was on his journey getting there? What's to say that he didn't write it on fucking planet Earth and was like, oh yeah, dude, I got... Like, he has to be thinking, like, what are the first words that I am going to say when I land on the moon?
Absolutely.
I am the first person to land on the moon. What am I going to say? What is going to be written down in history? Because he knows that's going to be history.
Especially because back then, people wrote everything. They probably had journals. They're probably sitting there in their capsule, on their journey to the moon. He's probably writing.
Right.
Yeah, I think, that's a very good point to combat against the actor notion that, everything was calculated, but calculated in a mischievous way. You know what I mean?
I do, because it's like, why would it be mischievous? Why would you want to fake it? Why would you want to make people think that that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I get fooling the USSR and being like, haha, we did it. But, like, they already did Sputnik. They got something in space before we did.
Right.
So, I mean, I could understand, like, being like, haha, we got to the moon. But, like, then they did too. So...
Exactly.
And they kind of, like, confirmed, like, oh, shit, their flag is here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they can't really, like, you know, why would they have this public acknowledgement of saying that we got there first if it was fake? Because if they did get there and were like, oh, you staged it, like, we would have known by now. They would have said, like, your flag wasn't there, dumbass.
Right.
Like,
okay, well, let me hit you with another one why they think the moon landing was fake.
uh-huh.
Because you can't see the stars in any of the photographs or, you know, television media.
Oh, really? I didn't know that one.
So it's kind of interesting if you do look at some of the photographs of the moon landing, you do not see stars. But luckily that has to do with, like, the exposure of the cameras.
I'm sure. Dude, 67 cameras, they can't capture jack shit.
Not at all. So, I mean, they were lucky to capture the spacesuits and the surface of the moon and all that. You know, I'd be surprised if they would be able to capture anything else. Especially if...
Capture an alien, come bring it back.
Oh. Now there's something. You think they saw any aliens up there?
No, that was Apollo 18.
Wait. That actually happened?
No, do you remember that movie, though, Apollo 18?
Now that I think about it, yes.
That movie sucked.
Wasn't it supposed to be scary?
Yeah, I mean, at the time it was for me because I was in, like, high school. But, yeah, that movie was not that great, if I remember correctly. Let me see what the public has to say about Apollo 18. I'm just curious now. Yeah, that's 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. I remember it being, like, not that great. Because it was, like, filmed, like... It was like one of those found footage films, right?
Right.
And, like, so many of those are just so obviously fake that it's like... I don't know. It's very hard to pull off a found footage film. The triple F, if you will.
I think one of the ones that did pull it off was Cloverfield, the first one.
I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I'm sure it
so
was good.
So it's amazing. We'll watch it. Maybe we should have a movie night with the fans one night.
At some point, I would like that.
Hey,
Come on, fans. Come on, fans. Come on down.
We're going
have a movie night.
Yeah. So what do you think about this conspiracy about different actors being replaced by clones? One of the ones that really comes to mind, Andrew WK. Do you know who that is?
I do not.
So he's a musician. And there's a theory out there that he's been played by different actors. And he is the lead singer of a band.
What? So, like, when he goes, like, on stage, it's not always him?
Well, here's the thing. They think that it was him for certain chunks. Like, there was a guy who held the mantle and did all the Andrew WK stuff. Performed, went on tour, did meet and greets, all that, stuff. Then another guy came in, did the same stuff, and, like, basically took over for the other one.
Okay.
But here's the thing. What if it was a clone? And the real Andrew WK, hey, maybe they threw him in Area 51. And there's just a bunch of celebrities in Area 51 and a bunch of celebrity clones out on the loose.
How do they make those clones, if that is true?
Well, I would imagine they make it like people make sausage links.
Ooh, so, like, they get their DNA.
Yeah, they take a little bit of DNA. You only need, like, a hair or maybe a skin follicle or a taint hair, whatever. And
anything.
You throw it into the little grinder and you put it with some kind of mold that whoever... alien technology they have. They throw it in there. It shoots out like a little sausage link. Okay, you with me so far?
I'm still here.
Okay, it ties off, and then you let it sit, and it grows into a human over a month period.
The same age, just a month?
The same age. It'll form into what the actor's current everything is. Current age, current whatever. And then it grows, and then it basically takes over. So it has a conscience of its own, but it knows everything that the previous celebrity knew, and then it just continues to grow from there. And it can learn too, so it's not always staying the same. They evolve like a human would. They just start later in life.
That's right. So that clone, we would need a hair from that clone if we need to dupe it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works. That sounds legit. I could do that.
Could you?
Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about it.
That's all I have to say about that. So I've heard there are some other celebrities that'll do this, though, too. They probably did that with Paul McCartney back in the day, then.
What is going on with Paul McCartney?
Well, a lot of people, there's a conspiracy that went around that he died in November of 66. Like at the height. I think it was like height of Beatles.
Long ass fucking time ago.
Yeah, so height of Beatles. Okay. Everyone was like, all right, Paul McCartney, he just died. I don't know why people just randomly thought this, but they thought he was replaced by a bunch of other actors, probably clones,
Dude.
Saying, they gotta replace the man. And then I think this stemmed from a lot of playing the songs in reverse, and it was saying like, Paul is dead and stuff like that, and there was like a couple of album artworks that they shot where Paul was never fully looking at the camera, and he was always in different clothes than the other band members, and it was like, it's alluding to the fact that he's like different, he's not the same anymore.
Oh,
shit. He's not truly who he is. So they would try and give like subtle hints to people to see if they could pick up on it.
That's interesting, because I suppose if you're in a band and maybe a member is not necessarily, I don't know, getting along with everyone, or maybe they're doing whatever, and you just replace them with a clone. I mean, you could maybe do that with, like, I don't know, friends.
Anybody could do it to anybody. You could do it with friends. You could do it with...
What if I was a clone?
I wouldn't know.
You were doing a podcast with a clone, and that would just be your existence, and you'd have no idea.
Innocence is bliss.
That is
if
true.
You think everybody's a clone, then nobody's a clone.
Those are wise words, my friend.
You could quote me on that.
Yeah, so who knows? You could be fucking a clone. People out here banging clones, and you got clones banging you.
We all got clone fever. That's right. So with that clone fever, go into the world and find your consenting partner and just go to town on them.
Yeah, man, woman, clone, whoever you prefer.
And everything in
love
between.
Love is love, my friends.
Love is love is love. And we want to say thank you to all of you, because we love all of you for joining us on this wonderful conspiracy episode of Think Harder.
Yes. And if any of you have conspiracies that we didn't tackle here today, or you want us to talk about, or...
That's right.
You hit us up on our tweet, on the Twitter machine, and...
On our tweet?
On our tweet.
Hit me right in the tweet!
Hit us on the tweety-tot, and at Think Harder Pod, and, let us know what you got.
Yeah, and if there's anything else, doesn't have to be conspiracies. It could be whatever. Use that hashtag, ThinkHarderPod. Email us, thinkharderpodcast@gmail.com. And like always, we don't want to teach you. We don't want to teach you. We want to teach everybody. God damn it. So